Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Joram Sonko and this is Smart 24 TV. Welcome to Business Today. But first, a look at the top stories.
Community states meet in post-budget review. Minister Kasaija says Ugandans hate to be taxed. Depending financial inclusion, fresh efforts to help women and youths embrace digital technologies yet to bear fruit. The Ghana Airline celebrates a new milestone as national carrier gets landing rights in China. In the coffee call discussion tonight, government assures applicants for passports.
All right, now let's get right on to it. Firstly, we start with Tini's dialogue today. The Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, says Ugandans must adopt a positive attitude to paying tax and own up the duty of developing their country. Speaking at the East African Community Post-Tax and Budget Dialogue at the Kampala Serena Hotel today, Kasaija, in a message delivered by his ministry's Director for Economic Affairs, Moses Kagwa, said many businessmen are concealing financial records to avoid remitting taxes. Let us have more of this story.
Community together with Siatin Uganda are holding a post-budget dialogue at Kampala Serena Hotel for the financial year 2022-2023 as a way of laying strategies on a quick economic recovery. He says some have outrightly fought off URA officials asking not to be taxed.
With the Kenyans so that when the goods come on the standard gauge railway from Kenya, at least when they reach Malaba, we can offload them and put them on our meter gauge railway and they come. That will reduce. We are also eyeing the southern route from Dar es Salaam. If the goods reach Mwanza, by railway, then we can get them by water to Bokassa or Port Bell, and Port Bell is only 13 kilometers. So if you do standard gauge for 13 kilometers, that would help.
Member states of the East African Community are meeting in Kampala to review their budgets passed recently. The analysis of the budgets is happening at the East African Community Post-Tax and Budget Dialogue 2022-2023. The states seek to accelerate economic recovery and enhance productive sectors for improved livelihood in the region.
It is an important tool because through it, Uganda and the rest of the governments can influence income distribution, provide services to citizens, transform the country through strategic investments. It is also worth noting that in 2007, the East African Community member states agreed to harmonize their budget readings as part of their efforts towards harmonizing their taxation regimes. This is important because when the budgets are read on the same day, it reduces the risk of policy leaks and unfair business practices. It's only in respect to Kenya, which is about to go for elections, where the budget was not read on the same day as the others. But the theme was the same, is accelerating economic recovery and enhancing productive sectors for improved livelihood.
One of the strategies defined is to have the Africa Free Continental Trade under the domestic resource mobilization. The panel of budget and tax experts shared their experiences and viewpoints on how their countries can equitably finance their development and infrastructure needs.
You are aware, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development unveiled a new financial year's 48 trillion budget last week. Of this figure, 25.5 trillion, which is about 53% of the budget, is to be financed from taxes and non-tax revenue sourced internally, and the rest from aids and grants. Ladies and gentlemen, much as we are supposed to contribute 53% towards this budget. Our ultimate national aspirations is to attain economic independence, where our national expenditure is fully funded domestically by all of us.
Agreement seeks to establish a continental customs union. That's the aspiration anyway. The Continental Customs Union. And those of you who read history, when you remember the Lagos Plan of Action, that was the plan that we are going to have one continental customs union. And that will help us also to negotiate with third parties like the European Union. Here, the agreement sets out to reduce or remove tariffs among member states and introduce common rates for goods and services.
Mutumba, Business Today, Smart 24, driving business.
Naomi Mutumba. Now moving on, Uganda Airlines has been granted direct landing flights at the Guangzhou International Airport as it prepares to commence the long flights to India, Saudi Arabia and the United Kingdom. Shakira Rahim, the airline spokesperson, told Smart 24 that the airline will operate one flight per week to Guangzhou, encouraging the Ugandan business community to take advantage of this chance. Pedersen Mombere has more.
The Civil Aviation Administration of China has granted landing rights to the Uganda Airlines to fly to Guangzhou International Airport, which is the first direct flight from Uganda to China since the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking to Smart 24 Television, Shakila Rahim Lama, the corporate affairs manager at Uganda Airlines, says that the national courier will be flying to China once a week as they wait for China's Civil Aviation Authority to grant more flights in the future.
Last week we received a notification from the Civil Aviation Administration of China granting us the rights to operate scheduled flights to China, and this was on condition that it's one flight per week because they're gradually trying to open up and to gradually phase and control COVID infections. So they think with one flight it is a way of trying to manage these infections and also monitoring how that opening up, whether we can have 2 flights or 3 flights depending on our schedule. And with that also, they've asked us to write back to them, of course, which point we would like to land in China, the exception of Beijing and Shanghai. Yes, and of course, from which point also in Uganda, but definitely that is Entebbe, our hub.
The direct route to China is a big score for Uganda Airlines to expand beyond Africa and become a major international airline. China is the second route for the airline after attaining the Dubai route last year. According to Shakila, the China route will enable Ugandans to do their business travel directly, but also encourage the Ugandans to develop this route in terms of cargo, as they are looking at boosting the cargo arm.
This is going to support business generally in Uganda, because we all know that China is the powerhouse and it's the workshop of the world. So there have been a lot of trade between China and Uganda, and our traders really have been going there to try and bring in goods. Yes, but what we need to also do now is to try and develop that route in terms of cargo, because now we are also looking at boosting our cargo arm because it's a financing arm of the airline. So we want to develop it to make sure that we are adding value in the country, that we have something we are taking to China. Yeah, and also because definitely we will have cargo coming back to the country. But we want to develop the route in terms of exports to China. And that is where all these associations, UMA, PSFU, Uganda Export Promotion Board, that is where they need to come in and support businessmen, support farmers, support any innovator that is interested in this route, in adding value to a good in trading with China. This is the time for them to start thinking and working together. And we're here to support. From the time they feel they're ready to ship.
In the same way, the Djibouti Consular General to Uganda, Carmona Richard, called on Uganda Airlines to negotiate with his country to have the same rights to strengthen trade between the two countries.
So, my name is Shakila Rahim Lamar. I am the Corporate Affairs and PR lead of Uganda Airlines.
All right, now let's move on to women in business. Women and the youth have been advised to uptake the use of digital financial services. Digital financial inclusion is a key enabler in reducing poverty and promoting sustainable development goals. More of this story.
Access to and use of quality financial products and services is essential to inclusive economic growth and poverty reduction. Research shows that when people participate in the financial systems, they are better able to manage risk, start or invest in a business, and fund large expenditures like education or home improvement. Women and youth should be helped to embrace digital financial services to deepen their inclusion.
The uptake of digital financial services requires us to train them in the use of technology. They do not know how to use these things and they are scared. Just the way when mobile money had just started, everyone was like, they're going to cheat, they're going to take my money, they're going to do all sorts of things with our money. It's the same issue we are facing with mobile banking, with digital banking. We are facing the same challenges, but the beauty is that we are tied in to their transactions are linked to their mobile monies, which means that they have the satisfaction right now to just concentrate on studying technology and how it works without having to worry about, is my money safe? Because that was the first mindset that we had to work on. If I'm working with MTN and Airtel money, that means your money is safe. It is a two-step security that you have your PIN with mobile money, but you also have a PIN with Tawaza Diva. So someone cannot access both accounts unless you've literally given them to them yourself.
African countries have since 2012 been enforcing several initiatives for equitable economic growth and to ensure universal access to formal banking services.
Digital finance is one that we have tied in on. Increasing our access to the use of quality products and services is one of the things you can achieve with digital finance. It is not that the traditional banks are not offering quality services, but we are trying to make universal access to formal banking. When you do not make a way for people to be able to get savings accounts with the formal banks, when you're with the digital banking, it doesn't mean that you don't save with the formal banks. You must have a savings account with a formal bank, because at the end of the day, when I give you money, for some people you want to use only your mobile account, but also I would advise the members of Tawaza to also get a formal bank account with any bank of their choice, because at the end of the day, with Tawaza Diva, we can access all banking networks and be able to send your money there wherever you want it to put. We can do that for you. And one of the key things why we are embarking on digital finance, it is to provide it's providing low-income women and with effective and affordable financial tools to save, borrow money, make and receive payments, and manage risk, which is critical to both women empowerment and poverty reduction.
This digital app is affordable with everyone, with or without a smartphone.
okusingira ddala ntambulira mu bantu abawansi abavubuka n'abakyala betutunuulidde naye nga n'abaami tubawo omwaganya okwegatta ku kitongole kino. Ng'aba abatawaza tulina membership fee eya $200 buli mwaka. Twagala okubiriza abantu okubeera nga basobola okurenewinga kubanga ebintu
The Private Sector Foundation Uganda, in partnership with the Dutch Employers Cooperation Program, with support from the Embassy of the Netherlands, has conducted training for their members of the employers and business member organizations. Smart 24's Andrew Berige has the details.
Many members of Private Sector Foundation are small associations, and those associations face challenges in serving their own members. So they lack the capacity, they lack the resources, they lack the means and the tools and the skills to even raise resources to serve their members better. So what we have done as Private Sector Foundation is to create a program that can assist members to take them through what needs to be done to serve their members better. How do they put together a value proposition, a set of those promises which they will give to everybody who is a member and the one who is planning to be a member, and say, when I join this association, these are the things that I expect from there. These are the things they do. Then from that, we've trained them, and we are training them to translate and create activities and services out of them so that they are able to deliver these services to these members. Some of those activities, they can even raise money from them. And when they do, then they have resources which they will use to serve all their members. So this is what we are doing today. We want to enhance the capacity and skills of our associations to be able to serve their members better.
Here in Uganda, we strongly believe that the business community is important and a crucial partner for the development of Uganda towards its own ambition for the middle income status and for a prosperous country like a Vision 2040. That hosts us here today is one of the partners, for instance, for us to reach the private sector, to train the private sector and their representatives to grow, to get more knowledge and to become a stronger partner in the development of Uganda. And they're a very important partner for us, the PSFU, for the EU as a whole, because we have the Team Europe initiative for the Sustainable Business for Uganda initiative, in which they are an important partner as well.
Learning points, but most importantly, we covered membership, recruitment and retention. We also looked at lobby and advocacy and how best it can be done. We also looked at good governance, what it entails, and what is being done currently and what we can improve. And we've gone home with some action points, which will be followed up next month. And so it's been a very informative, interactive, and educative program by PSFU. Many of our members, of the ones who were trained today, requested PSFU to do the same even at association level and at board level. Therefore, we thank the Dutch government for sponsoring this program and for all the projects that they've been sponsoring in different sectors, including the sector of real estate.
Now, moving on to the next one, we talk tourism. As experts have advised that Uganda invests heavily in cultural tourism to reap big from the global tourism market. The Ministry of Tourism budget this year has already set aside 176 billion Ugandan shillings to promote domestic tourism in Bunyoro and Buganda areas in the first phase.
Foreign tourists have shown special preferences for cultural ceremonies, festivals, and local arts, indicating a unique area for Uganda to generate income. Natural-based attractions such as rivers, lakes, and game parks are standing out for Uganda, and that's according to Vivian Leaz, the Assistant Commissioner at the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife.
Cultural tourism development based on the kingdoms we working strongly with the cultural establishments to package strong products that people can go visit and be a part of. Last year, we organized the Echoto Hampango event, which was quite successful, despite the fact that it was done during the lockdown. This year, as we celebrate the World Tourism Day, we will be in Mbale, and we again want to capitalize on the Bagisu or the Elgon cultures in that place. We'll go back to Echoto Hampango as well and open up a number of other interactions, especially with Buganda and Bunyoro, in terms of cultural tourism development. We think it is the way to go. It is associated by both the international and domestic visitors, and we're working very hard to ensure that cultural tourism takes the center stage in our new development agenda.
Story compiled by Samuel Chirimunda.
All right, now let's cross over to Djibouti. Did you know Djibouti's Dorale multipurpose port? The Dorale multipurpose port is the core of the extensive investment in Djibouti by China Merchants Group, the CMG. The port is one of 4 new ports in the Horn of Africa nation, which is co-funded by China to establish Africa's largest free trade zone that can handle $7 billion of goods every year. Rona Nahawe talks about the wonder port that could change business for many business traders in the country.
I mean here, 1, 2, 3, and all the boats. All the boats. There's all the boats. You see, historical boats. It's a 4 now here, and the 2 in district.
At the confluence of the Red Sea and the Indian Ocean, the port links to both Addis Ababa, Djibouti Railway, the largest Chinese-financed infrastructure project in East Africa. A new international established by the consortium of Chinese investors headed by the China Merchants Group. China Merchants Group investment in the port is the foundation of its broader strategy to transform Djibouti into an international free trade zone. The $590 million Dorare multipurpose port project started in 2015 and was jointly financed by Djibouti Ports and the Free Zones Authority. The bulk terminal of the Dorale port can handle 2 million tons of cargo a year and offers space to 100,000 tons of fertilizer, grains and warehouses for other goods. The break bulk terminal can also handle 6 million tons of cargo per year with 40,000 slots for vehicles. One of the traders of liquefied petroleum gas in East Africa stresses that one of the biggest challenges is that of logistics, of which they hope to solve by constructing a terminal to improve their value chain and market in Africa.
In Djibouti, we want to do an expansion to our program. We want to build a terminal which can hold like 20 to 50,000 tons. This is one of the biggest terminal which is going to be built in East Africa, and then it's going to add more value into our chain value of products, where we can supply to Ethiopian market and the East African market, especially Somalia, so that it's going to be very competitive and it's going to create ease of logistics from our side. And plus also there is a natural gas development which is coming pipeline from Ethiopia's region it's called Kalub. So probably in the next 3 to 5 years, refinery is going to be completed. So it will have a significant value to our value chain, so we can take the processed gas LPG from here back to Ethiopia again. Biggest challenge is that our logistic cost was very high because gas has to come through ISO tanks from Dubai or any other places like from South Africa or maybe from Saudi Arabia. When it comes in bulk, the logistic cost is going to be reduced significantly, close to like 50%, so people will afford it. And plus, this is an environmental friendly product, which the environment should not be used we should not be harming our environment by using this renewable energy. This is a byproduct of petroleum. So instead, people use charcoal or firewood here in Africa. This will create like a harmonized system in reducing the environmental aspect of where which has already been degraded in all aspects of from the coastline to the hinterlands of this East Africa, as you can understand.
For a landlocked country like Uganda, for them to be able to benefit from this, the CEO of the Free Trade Zone area has provided a solution for such countries to use consolidation partnerships and chain supply network.
Country, once the cargo arrive at the port of the port of the entry, such as the air freight. Air freight is an alternative option to overland transportation. It saves much time, but everyone knows that the air tariff is higher, right? So our solution, our sea air solution is the consolidation, which means through consolidation, the cargo volume reaches an economic scale. The freight tariff will dramatically drop.
New world-class infrastructure, Djibouti confirms its position as a major trading hub for the continent. They are proud to show the world their capacity to deliver major infrastructure projects. Ronana Habwe, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Okay, now let's head to the coffee court where Miriam Watembe gives you an insight in the development of passports.
Good evening, welcome to Coffee Court, where we get to analyze what's going on in the business world. So today we'll be talking about the passport situation in the country, and today with me I have the Internal Affairs PRO, Mr. Mundei Simon. Mr. Mundei Simon, good evening.
Good evening, Miriam. Glad to have me on Smart 24 TV. I always watch this TV, but I didn't know that it was only handling business matters, because I would see whenever I would want to get forex exchange and stuff like foreign capital stocks and what have you, I always get it from this Smart 24 TV. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. So today we wanted to talk about the passport situation in Uganda, basically. Now that you've introduced the East African system, I needed to know, are we still going to use the e-passport system?
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers, once again. In 2018, that was specifically 7th December, the government of the Republic of Uganda introduced the East African electronic passports, and we started issuing those passports and phased out the old system of the machine readable passports. Since 2018 December 7th, we have not issued any other type of passport other than the electronic one. Now, when it came to 2019, between 2019 and 2020, because of COVID restrictions, government, of course, extended the deadline for phasing out the old passport to 4th April 2022. Originally, we had set 2020 as a deadline for phasing out these old passports, but because of COVID, we couldn't go with that deadline because many people are not working, people are locked up in their houses, and due to lockdown, we couldn't enforce that deadline. So we did extend the deadline to 4th April 2022 when we completely now phased them out. And since then, all Ugandans exiting the country through Entebbe and all other border points are required to have in possession the new passport. You are actually not required to use an old passport. You cannot produce the same at the airport and be allowed to travel. The only exception to the rule is the Ugandans who are living abroad and coming to Uganda. They can still use the old passports to return here with the understanding that when they come, they are going to change their passports. But exit strictly new passports.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now, what is the current state of acquiring this new passport?
To acquire a new passport, we have simplified the system. It is very easy. First of all, you apply for a passport online, pay for it, acquire an appointment online. What happens? You visit our portal, www.passports.go.ug. Once you reach there, you will then click on start a new application. When you click there, our very easy form will display itself on the system, on the screen, be it a computer or even a phone, then requiring you to put in your details, the biometrics, date of birth, date of issue, and parentage, name of father, name of your mother, where you come from, your clan, your tribe, all those details, national ID number, what we refer to as NIN. Then at the tail end of the whole form, the system will avail you a number known as payment registration number. That number enables you to pay for the passport. You can pay, once you get that number, you can pay in the bank or pay using mobile money. Once you finish payment, you come back to the system again. Because the system will give you that number, you take it to the bank, you are allowed to pay for the passport, 250 ordinary passport. After you pay, then you come back to the system again, the www.passports.go.ug, for you to be able to schedule appointment. Because you cannot schedule appointment when you have not yet paid. So you pay, you come back to the system, you click on schedule appointment, the system will display a calendar for you, showing which dates are available, which dates have been occupied. So for you, you check on the available dates and click on one. After clicking on one, you submit, and the system now avails the appointment form for you. It will indicate the date on which to come here for interview and the time. So we shall give date, time. So on your scheduled date and time, you come here 30 minutes to time, and they will allow you enter inside our passport processing center, and a very simple interview will be conducted to ascertain your citizenship, basically, because we want to give passports to Ugandans only. Yeah. And then the process moves.
Okay. Now, how about the people who are renewing their passports? Do they also have a fee to pay? It's the same procedure?
Renewal is the same, because we are going to give you a new passport.
Okay.
And remember, we are changing passports now. Okay. We are changing from the old technology to new technology. So to renew, it is the same process, same amount, apply, pay, schedule appointment, and appear for interview. Okay. After you appear for interview, then you will give us some little time, ranging from 3 to 4 weeks, and then the system will send you a message, notification when the passport is ready. Then you come to pick.
So there's been a case of you having very many, like the lines are really long when people come for their passport, and still they fail to get their passports. What could be the reason to that?
Well, the lines everywhere they give passports, be it in UK, US, China, or in Malaysia. Queues are always there. They are not a problem. The only problem we have here is Ugandans who apply for passports and not following their schedules. Somebody applies for a passport and applies for a schedule, is given to appear, let's say today, Tuesday. You are supposed to come Tuesday between, say, 3 and 4 p.m. The person appears at 7 in the morning. So at 7, remember here we have a center that processes 250 people per hour. So we are required to have about 200, between 200 to 300 applicants seated, because those are the seats, that's the capacity of that hall. But you find people 1,500 appearing at the same time. Instead of having 250, you're having 1,000, 1,500, sometimes 2,000 coming at a go. And yet for us, we give them the time to come here. Those are the people you see outside there being asked to queue up. That is the long line you are seeing outside around the MTN, around the meat packers, sometimes around the Total there. Those are people who have not kept their time. Yes. The people who keep their time are inside, actually seated. They are being worked on. But the people who come during the time for others to be worked on are kept outside. Those are the ones who are crowding outside. If applicants kept their time and came as per the required date and time, you wouldn't be able to see anybody crowding outside there. It is just that in Uganda we are just starting these things of appointments. Ugandans were not used to them. Okay. But I think with time, these things are going to work out, because right now as I talk, we don't have those very crazy queues that used to be characterized outside there. Yeah. So slowly, I think Ugandans are coming to terms with the advent of appointments. They will learn, yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So the opening of centers in different countries, passport centers, has it helped in any way?
Yeah, well, it has helped. When we started this electronic passport system, the demand for passports had gone so high, especially in the advent of labor export. These people who want to go and work outside Uganda. When we started, the demand for passports, I think, went up by about 80%. So because of that, we did sit down and think of how we would serve Ugandans better. So we did open passport centers in various parts of the country and outside the country. So we opened the passport office in Mbarara to handle the western part of the country. We did open one in Mbale to handle the eastern part, and also one in Igulu. We are opening another one in Jinja because there's overwhelming demand from that side of the country, and also opening one in Arua to help boost the northern region. Now, recently we also embarked on diaspora offices. We opened one in London to handle Ugandans in that part of the country, of the world. We opened one in Washington. Recently we opened in Abu Dhabi. Yesterday we opened in Pretoria, South Africa. 2 weeks to come we shall be in Ottawa, Canada. We shall also head to Denmark and end with Beijing, China. So it has really helped to, first of all, reduce the numbers here. Although we still have some challenges where some applicants from up country not trusting those offices we opened. You see the other day I was interfacing with somebody who is a neighbor of our office in Mbale, but had come here to ask for a passport. Yet we have an office in Mbale doing the same. Some of them doubt that those passports are not good enough to take them out of the country. So that's the challenge we have. But it has helped to reduce the numbers here. So I appeal to Ugandans in those parts of the country where we have offices to utilize those offices to apply for passports instead of coming here. Yeah.
So if you wanted an express passport, quick passport, is there any way you can get that?
Yeah. Here we have actually two windows. We have express and standard. Express, of course, it calls for an extra fee of about 150,000 on top of the passport fees. So if you want an express passport, you apply for it. The system has express. You apply for express and pay for it. 400,000 express altogether. Now for express, we give it priority because we know that people who apply for express have normally emergencies. These are people who don't want to wait. So people with their money, they don't want to wait. They want to be handled preferentially. So these are people we put aside. We have a launch that handles these kinds of Ugandans who don't want to sit or mix with the other ordinary Ugandans. So we have a special place for them where they come and sit, and then the system gives them very quick dates to appear here. Once you go to the system, you are express, it gives you the near dates. You don't wait forever. You still make an appointment, but the appointment does not go far like it is for these other standard services. But however, we got a problem recently. Our friends, the labor export companies, many of them paid for express services. We have 157 companies. Out of those, 138 paid for express. 138. And each of them came with about 500 girls to acquire passports. Now, we had a real huge number of express passports to process. At the same time, we were also upgrading our system, so this caused a bit of delay. You must have had cries then that hey, even if you pay for express, they will tell you to wait. That was the challenge we had. Many of them paid the express, and during the same time, we also started upgrading the system. And during the system upgrade, we did reduce on the production. Instead of producing 2,000, we reduced it to about 600 passports. So you can see, first of all, there was a huge number of express. Secondly, there was a system upgrade. Thirdly, there were all these other ones also, the standard applicants. So we had a huge backlog in our system. But however, we have worked on the backlog, and now as I talk, we do not have any outstanding express applicants in our system. Express takes about 5 days, 5 working days, and you have your passport. Now, I want to say something. Other than express, where you pay extra 150, there are these Ugandans who cannot afford extra 150, but they have emergencies, yet they have emergencies. They want to go for treatment, they want to go and give birth, they want to go to study, and stuff like that. They have real emergencies, but they don't have the money to pay for express. Now those ones, we have also given them their window. We expedite their passports, because we are human beings and we empathize with them. We try to understand their situation. There are people who are sick, they want quick passports to go for treatment. Those ones, we do their passports in 1 day. 1 day. Those who are going for studies, we do it 2 days. But if you are sick and really there's need for you to go out of the country to have your treatment, we shall quickly process your passport in just 1 hour. we have that window. But to do that, we have to verify, because now Ugandans had learned the habit of trying to tell lies. Somebody goes to Nasarud and forges medical forms. I have a liver problem. I am going for for an operation in India in the name of getting a quick passport. So we always verify. For you to qualify to be in that category of the very sick, you must have gotten a letter from the referral hospital, such as Mulago. If you are going to say you have cancer, you must have some referral from Cancer Institute to referring you to abroad for specialized treatment. In that way, we handle your passport as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Thank you. Your office has 1,000 pending applicants. What is the way forward for that?
Pending applicants, we are working. We have done 3 things. First of all, we have increased the workstations for us to be able to serve more Ugandans and produce more passports to try to clear these pending applicants. So we have increased workstations. At first we had about 24 workstations. We added 8. Now we have 32 workstations. Secondly, we are working up to late. Instead of starting work at 8 and finish by 5, now we are working up to about 8 p.m. Yes, all in the name of trying to clear and serve more Ugandans. Then the third strategy we have put in place is we have increased on production from 2,000 passports to now 3,000. We are now producing 3,000 passports daily. So with this, we hope in about 1 or 2 weeks, we shall have cleared all the pending cases. And we shall be giving Ugandans passports in real quick time. Yeah.
So as I wind up, what should Ugandans expect from the ministry?
1, they should expect a good service, of course. 2, as they expect a good service, I appeal to them to apply for their passports in time. The reason why you see people being conned by brokers and middlemen out there is because of desperation. People, somebody has a journey tomorrow, he comes with his application today for a passport. He's all sweating, he's all struggling. Then the brokers are there, they first read, they have psychology. These guys did a lot of psychology. They look at you, they know you are desperate. Then they will call you aside and they will promise heaven on earth. They will promise you how they are going to process a passport in 1 hour, and they will ask you for a lot of money. We have had a case last week where a girl was conned 1.5 million in the name of processing a quick passport. Up to now, nothing has been done. We are looking for those people actually. So, but if you apply for your passport in advance, you prepare yourself. First of all, you are not going to be desperate. You take your time and you'll get a passport. But the Ugandans you see struggling outside there are those who want quick passports, first of all, and yet they have not paid for express. So they become desperate and would want to seek for assistance from anybody. So I appeal to Ugandans to apply for passports in time. Then 3, I want to appeal and inform Ugandans out there that this Ministry of Internal Affairs is a public place. Nobody is refused the entry. When you come, you explain your issue, nobody refuses you to enter here. There are some applicants who come here and fear from outside. When they see a policeman at the gate, then also with the brokers instilling in fear. Because with the brokers, they want to create fear in you. When they create fear in you, then they will extort money from you. They will, of course, tell them that place you cannot just simply enter there. They are going to arrest you. Don't you see? It has soldiers, it has military men, it has policemen. But these people are here keeping law and order. They don't have any problem with anybody. Once you have your appointment, once you want to do any business inside here, nobody will refuse. You come and simply explain, and you are allowed access. So I appeal to Ugandans not to fear the police at the gate, but to simply approach them and explain their cases. They'll be allowed to access services here. Because this office is public. It is not, it's not private. We are here, this is a service ministry, because we serve the public. We serve both Ugandans and non-Ugandans. Ugandans who are coming here for various services, including passports and others. Ugandans who are getting licenses for guns, for private guns, also come seek the same services in this ministry. Then non-Ugandans who are looking for work permits, they seek for those services here. So you can simply not avoid this office. You can't avoid this office just because there are policemen at the gate. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mundei. That was Mr. Mundei talking about passport situation in Uganda. I'm your host, Miriam, and thank you for being part of Coffee Courts. Thank you.
All right, away from the coffee court, now let's have a recap of our top stories.
African community states meet in post-budget review. Minister Kasaija says Ugandans hate to be taxed. Deepening financial inclusion, fresh efforts to help women and youths embrace digital technologies yet to bear fruit. Uganda Airlines celebrates a new milestone as the national carrier gets landing rights in China. In the Coffee Court discussion tonight, government assures applicants for passports.
All right, and thank you for being part of Business Today. It is Tuesday, the 21st of June 2022. And for all of you that have been part of us from 9, thank you very much. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko, and this is Smart 24 TV Driving Business. Till tomorrow, it's a good night and have a blessed